Hey, what's up everyone from Las Vegas? So today we're going to talk about rejection in real estate. Happens every day. Doesn't matter if you're the number one agent in your city or you're number 20,000. It happens every single day. I'm going to explain to you how I deal with rejection in real estate and go from there. So I've been in real estate for almost 20 years. I'm actually in my 19th year here in Las Vegas, and also licensed in California. And it doesn't matter, what type of real estate that you're in, whether it's commercial or multifamily or land or residential or luxury, there's always competition, right? So I'm gonna start with the easiest of the rejection categories. And the easiest is people that you don't know. So people that maybe were referred to you through a client or a friend, and you go to interview. So I'm going to give you an example. I actually had an interview a couple weeks ago in Club Aliante in Las Vegas, and he was interviewing me and I think 3 or 4 other agents, and he was drilling me, hey, who are you, etc. And I'm showing him all the stuff that I do, all the media, all the magazines, everything, right? And he's asking me very specific questions, and I'm very confident. And the way I go into a listing presentation is I try to portray and give the energy of like, hey, I'm the man, and you need to understand that not hiring me would be a huge mistake. I say it in a confident way, not a cocky way, but I also show it in my numbers, and I show it in my history of business, of being in real estate, saying, hey, all of last year, I sold every one of my properties at or above list price. There was only maybe one, I think, that wasn't, but it was a higher end home. So you need to put your money where your mouth is. And me, I put a lot of money, in maid service and things like that. Anyways, so he was drilling me on like, how many have you sold in Club Aliante? I said, look, I don't pigeonhole myself into just selling Club Aliante. I just don't, right? But I am one of the top 1% agents in Las Vegas, and I'm not going to turn away business because it's not in a specific community. I sell everything from, X, Y, and Z. So anyways, he ended up messaging me later on, a couple days later, and said, oh, I'm going to go with this particular agent because he sold 42 homes in Club Aliante, which probably wasn't true. But anyways, long story short, it was disappointing because I know I was a much more successful agent than this other agent. And I've looked at this other agent's photos and how they market. And I know I do a much better job. I put a lot more into it. But unfortunately, it's just what it is. And it's just a part of the game, right? So that's the easiest part of rejection in real estate. The hardest part of rejection in real estate is when it's a close friend that actually ends up using another realtor that they know. That's really tough, right? And I understand, there's so many agents now in each city, every bartender, courtesy clerk, whatever, now is a real estate agent. I just heard a story the other day, anyways, it was about, there's a lot of valets that are real estate agents and things like that. But how do you deal with that, right? How do you deal with your close friend who you've known for 5 years or 10 years or even longer that you have holidays with and whatnot, and they use another realtor? So I'll give you another situation. There's a good friend of mine, I won't say his name, really good guy, good integrity. And he was always like, hey, when I'm ready, I'll let you know. And I was like, great, that's great. And then I saw him maybe 2 months ago and he goes, hey, I bought a house. And I'm like, oh, congratulations. And, you don't want to be somber about it, right? You want to congratulate them and say, hey, I'm so happy for you. But I did ask, and I was like, hey, I just want to know, was there a reason why you didn't use me? And he goes, well, there's this lady. She works with me at work. She's a part-time agent, but I see her all the time. And because I see her all the time, every day, I wanted to give her the deal. I just felt more connected and whatnot, just because that he sees her on a day-to-day basis. And I've known this guy for like probably 7-8 years now. We have a great rapport, great friendship, and I was, you know, a little disheartened, but you know, you got to move on, right? So another situation was, I have another good friend of mine who I've known probably for about 4 or 5 years. He goes, "Hey, when I'm ready to buy a house, I'm coming to you. I'm a new, you know, first time home buyer." I said, "Yeah, no problem." And again, I saw him, I think the same day, and he goes, "Oh, I went into contract on a new house." And what happened was, he was just driving around, drove into a new home community, kind of got caught up in it, and didn't call me, and didn't realize that he would have gotten a better deal if I was there, because obviously I've been doing this a long time. I have better negotiation techniques, especially with, you know, builders. He doesn't know what he's doing, right? He just think everything is normal, what they're telling him. And I congratulated him. I was like, "Oh, congratulations. You know, I'll actually throw you a housewarming party." So even though I didn't help him purchase his home on his new home, even though he said he was going to use me, I told him I would throw him a housewarming party. And he goes, "Oh, you would really do that even though I didn't use you as my agent?" I go, "Absolutely. I would love to do it. It would be an honor to do it. This is a big moment for you." Remember, purchasing a property is one of the biggest moments in an individual's life. So as a friend, you have to be there for them, even if they didn't use you. It's really important. It's not about business. You really have to be there, right? Last situation with a friend was, this actually happened 3 times, like within a month. The last situation was, I have a friend, and I helped her purchase her property, and I think I got her a really good deal about 7-8 years ago for $140, and the house had increased in value, so I crushed it for her. I got her an amazing deal in one of the best areas in town for one of the super low price. Crushed it for her. So obviously I kept, you know, have a good relationship with her, et cetera, and she ended up selling her house with somebody that she went to school with, somebody that she had a longer relationship with. And that kind of hurt. And she told me, you know, what her friend was able to do as a listing agent. Obviously, I always feel like I can do better. I said, "Okay, congratulations. You know, if you end up wanting to buy, I would love to be there to help you. You know, my knowledge and my expertise is really long and full. So obviously I would love to help her, and my expertise is extensive." So in saying that, you know, she ended up using the same agent to purchase her next home. And I asked her why. And she said, "Oh, well, you know, I felt bad, you know, because, you know, she has kids and I went to school with her." And I said, "Okay, well, congratulations, you know?" So, how do I take rejection in real estate? I take it with a grain of salt. It's all you can really do. You just take it with a grain of salt. And, you know, another situation is, you know, if you're trying to break into the luxury world, as every real estate agent is now, and you walk into a listing appointment with, you know, somebody that is successful, they're educated, they're savvy. You know, if you walk into a luxury listing and they're going to go, "Okay, well, how many sales do you have in this building or in this community?" And you're going to say, "None." And they're going to go, "Okay, why should I go with you as opposed to all these other high-end realtors who have been doing it 5, 10 years and they have multiple sales within this community?" What you have to do is you have to sell you. And whenever you get to that level, it's an even playing field. The agents that you're competing against are really good and they're really savvy. So what does it come down to? It comes down to your personality and people connecting with you, and that you have the same values, you know, and you'll have to explain to them that you're going to crush it. Maybe you don't have the sales or any sale in that community or building that these other agents that are interviewing have, but you're going to give them more personal attention, and you're going to crush it for them, and you're going to make sure that they get the best possible deal possible, and you're not going to leave any money on the table. It's really, really important. And everybody's human, right? Everybody's human, and they're going to understand that you can't get experience without getting experience. It's impossible, right? So that's how I deal with rejection in real estate. You take it with a grain of salt. You keep grinding. You keep pushing. You keep making connections. If you're not getting the deals that you want or the amount of deals that you want, you're just not talking to enough people. And you need to get out there and you need to grind and you need to talk to more people. You need to be at more networking functions. And rejection is just a part of the game. And you have to smile and you have to shake their hand. You have to congratulate them. Because guess what? They could come back and refer another client to you. Another example, actually my last example, and I just thought about this. I actually interviewed for a listing in Rancho Bel Air and I lost it. And the reason why I lost it was because the listing agent apparently already had a buyer lined up for that property. Okay, good for them, right? But what's great was the sellers for that property weren't really happy with the job that the listing agent did for them in that listing in Rancho Bel Air. And they actually ended up calling me a year later and said, hey, we would love to use you as our agent. We're moving back to Vegas. We really liked your personality. We really liked how relentless you were and that you had a lot of like perseverance. And I sold them a house and they actually referred 2 more clients to me. So it really depends on, you know, keeping good relationships with people and realize that just because you lost that listing or just because you lost that purchase doesn't mean it's the end of the world. It's really important that you keep good relationships. Don't be sour because they didn't use you. There's a lot of agents out there and most likely people know multiple agents or are referred multiple agents from different sources. So just take it with a grain of salt and move on to the next and just keep grinding and eventually your referrals will speak for themselves. So, you know, you'll get more and more referrals because of how badass you are. So just keep grinding, keep at it. If you like this content, make sure you subscribe, like, and comment, and we'll see you on the next one.